The Chris Lord Algae vocal cheat codes, what they are and what they do. Next on Music Surgery with me, Dr. Bob. Hey you guys, quickly before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. And don't forget to check out the Doctor's Lounge, my store, and the links to some great samples below in the description of this video. There are lots of videos and information online on vocal chains that the pros use, including CLA. Setting up these vocal chains regarding the order of plugins and, as importantly, the signal flow of these plugins are what most tutorials miss. Let's do it the right way. Watch this. All right, you guys, good stuff this week. The first part about this isn't the sexiest part because it's not the magic plugin or anything like that, but it's very, very, very important. We're going to talk about gain staging. Now, a lot of people say, gain staging doesn't matter. That was in the analog days when we had tape hiss and console hiss, and we had to record super loud so it would cover up the hiss. Well, that's one kind of gain staging. This kind of gain staging that's very important now is plugins are designed to be hit at their peak performance at a certain level, and that's between -6 and 0. So we want to get the best out of our plugins. If we have all these plugins in our project because we want to make it to sound better, we know how to use them. We need to know how to use them properly. So first thing, this is a lead vocal here.
Knock, knock, it's your voice.
And to even this out, before I do my gain staging, which this is also gain staging too, I've made cuts in all of the parts here in the words that aren't quite as loud. And where they were like this before, I brought them up a little bit. Now, this isn't going to affect, you say, well, if you bring the low words up, to the level of the stronger words, you're going to affect the dynamics. Well, in a lot of music now, there isn't many dynamics anyway. But what you also have to understand is there's perceived dynamics. And I'm not talking about luffs. I'm talking about when a singer sings higher or louder, we perceive that to be differently than we do lower notes. So turning this up isn't going to affect the dynamics in the way we perceive it, but it's going to make for a much better even vocal the way we compress it and the way it hits our plugins. So I've done that in here to all of these words to make them closer to the peaks. So that's the first part of gain staging. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at this to see how loud this vocal actually comes across. So I have a meter here. Let me reset it, and we're going to look for our peaks right here.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in? It feels so right. You're gonna love the day.
So if -6 to 0 is where it really should be to make these plugins at their peak performance, then I need to turn this up. I've highlighted all that. Let me turn it up in level. Let's see what I get.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong. It feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin.
I can still turn it up a little more.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong. It feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin.
Okay, I'm at like -2.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in?
-3. That's going to be well within the range that I want. So the next thing I'm going to do, and this has to do with gain staging, is I'm just going to tame the peaks a little more with an L1.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong. It feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin. Knock, knock, it's your voice. Look around and see. No matter if I don't.
Just hitting the peaks just a little bit. The next thing I want to do, and this isn't as much a dynamic thing as it is, I want this to be in order before all my compression. Before my compression, I want to fix the problems. So one of the things to fix the problems would be to DS.
Knock, knock, it's your voice. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right.
So basically, I'm limiting the S's back. the next thing I want to do is anytime you compress something, you're going to bring up the low end. So I want to listen here to her vocal.
Wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin. Nah, get your vibes. Look around and see. No matter if I don't.
Anything down here is just going to be trash for her vocal, so I don't want this to be seeping through and get compressed and make it louder. Next thing I'm going to do is let me add some EQ. I've brightened it up and I've messed with the mid-range.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin. Nah, get your vibes.
Getting to the compressor, let's find out how hard we're hitting the compressor, because I want this to be hitting between -6 and 0. So I go to my input.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin. Nah, get your vibes. Look around and see. No matter if I don't play nice, you'll.
So I'm turning up the volume of this channel strip going into the compressor, so I can see that if I'm hitting in this area, that's where I'm getting the most out of my compressor.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin.
Now let me switch to how much I'm compressing it. This will show on the meter, the gain reduction.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in?
So that's a little much, maybe, not much though.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love the taste of sin. Nah, get your vibes.
Okay. Now we know we have a properly gain structured, EQ'd before compression and compressed vocal. What I'll do now is I'm going to take this meter out because I know I'm good. I'm going to move all these plugins up one. And at the end here, what CLA likes to do is add another compressor. Maybe it's an L1. I like the RVox.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in? Can't be wrong, it feels so right. You're gonna love it.
So we're overall compressing it again. And let's put some of our effects in.
Nah, get your vibes. Won't you let me in?
The spirit verb here is really cool. It's a spring reverb, and that's what gets that kind of cold, chilly reverb. I never knew what that was for a long time. So if I take this off and you just hear the spring reverb,
Nah, get your vibes.
the H3000
Nah, get your.
is just for a little spread, and then the UAD EMT plate is for some plate. But that cold, chilly sound is really awesome, and that's a spring reverb. So we've gain structured. We've put things in the correct order as far as before compression to get the gain structure right before compression. We've fixed and EQ'd things before the compression. So we're compressing what the vocal is that we want to hear, how it's EQ'd, how it sounds best to our ear. I've limited one more time at the end, and then at the end here, I've also, after this limiter, I've also taken some low out and added a little bit of high in. Now let's hear it in the song and see where we're at. So we're really hitting in that area right here where we want to, because I've got it on input. We're our gain reduction. I mean, getting 10, minus 10 or minus 7 or minus 15 a gain reduction is no problem in a song like this. So, not to say that we still can't use some automation for the end vocal, but the main thing is When people say don't worry about gain staging, they're talking about a different kind of gain staging. Worry about this because you're going to get a much cleaner, much better vocal, a better sound, better compression going into each other. That's the way these plugins were designed. Just like analog plugins, there's a sweet spot, and that's it. Make sure you get things in order and you get things gain staged properly. Well, there you go. Take the time to get these plugins in order and to properly manage the signal flow, and you'll be getting the most out of your plugins. Thanks as always for watching. Give me some comment love and a thumbs up below, and hit me at drbobmusicsurgery@gmail.com if you want to say hello or you want me to work on your music. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you the next time the doctor's in.